Hello, and thank you for visiting Graphene Business Law. If you're a student currently in law school and wondering what the best thing you could do with this 2023 year is for yourself, then this is the video for you. My name is Pam Matani. I'm a business lawyer and the owner and principal lawyer here at Graphene Business Law, a law firm in Ontario, Canada, where we're able to serve you, including virtually, throughout the province. We often post materials here for law students as well, because I know what that's like. I know the journey you're on. Of course, we're catered primarily towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but like I said, the law student world does have a bit of a soft spot for us here at Graphene because we've been there. I wanted to put this video out very early in the year. Of course, we just, entered 2023. It's very early January as I filmed this video. And I was thinking, if I was in law school, what would be that one thing that I should tell myself, if I could go back in time, that I should tell myself to focus on? Focus on one thing. You've got the grades, you've got the clubs, you've got the moots, you've got the organizations, you've got the trips, you've got the professors and friends and internships and all of that. What's the one thing I should focus on? And this one thing I'm about to say, you could slice it any way that's most relevant to you, but the biggest, overall item that I would focus on is learning as much as possible about either one area of law that interests you. If you're in that position where the one thing you want to practice, for me, was always business law. My firm, I didn't even bother beating around the bush calling it, Graphene law firm, no, it's Graphene Business Law. That's all we do. We're good. That's what we do. But if you're on that same boat, then obviously me telling you to learn is going to translate into your ears, into learn about one thing, whatever your one thing is. And if you're not on that boat, well, learn, but maybe you learn a little bit about all areas of law until you find that one area of law, and then you continue to learn about that one area. When I was a law student, it always made me go, when I would ask practitioners, what's your advice? What's your advice? And I asked quite a few of them because I always wanted to be a lawyer, and I didn't necessarily know a lot of lawyers growing up. And when I was able to get FaceTime with a lawyer, well, that meant a lot to me, and I tried to make the most out of that. And so many times I got the advice of learn before you earn. It rhymes too, so it must be something, must be a good adage. But it always struck me because the advice was coming from practitioners of, 10, 20 years practice, and you're thinking, well, okay, learn before you earn, but you're earning right now, you're 20 years out, you got the house, you got the cars, you got the vacation, you got it all from the eyes of a student, right? As a student, so many of us have student loans, and we're struggling for internships, and we're struggling, sometimes there are law internships, sometimes they'll not. You take whatever you can to make ends meet, and you hope for a better day tomorrow, and if you're not from a certain setting where you're super well connected, or law, or law lingo, just reading these books is hard. That's a job, but it's not a job you're getting paid for. It's a job I'm paying to do that job. So I'm getting, the short end of the stick both times, because I'm putting money out of my pocket, and I got a damn hard job trying to decipher these hundreds of pages of law cases that I've never seen something like this before. I don't know what this is, okay? So those comments always struck me, and when they're coming from, it's like talking to the world's tallest person, and they say, oh, don't worry about height, being tall is not important, right? When somebody has that thing you're looking for, and they tell you to not think about that thing they have, it's an automatic kind of wall up. I found it's like, it was never, I spoke to these practitioners that I'm sure were well-intended, but none of them created that bridge that I hope I'm creating with you as the law student watching this video, right? None of them were like, hey, I'm telling you this thing, but this is why it works. And by the way I get it, as I'm saying this to you, you're thinking, yeah, whatever, right? But this is why I really mean what I'm saying. And this is why, you know, what I'm telling you will really help you if you stick the course, right? Anyways, long story short, in a lot of ways, I was focused on the earning and solely the earning, okay? Because that's where I was coming from. That's what was new to me, right? The lawyer, everything about law was new, but you know, the money bit obviously is something that so many of us think about going into law, and I don't think any of us are going into law to be hungry. So it does provide a little bit of extra incentive, and you think, man, once I make that salary, once I make it here, once I make it there, you know, like that's what my eyes are on, because I can translate that money into, you know, paying bills and real life things. But learning, I might never be able to translate that into anything. That's intangible, right? Money's tangible. You can look at the dollar signs. I'm not going into the legal sense, by the way, because as I said, money's tangible. I heard my law professor in my ear, you know, with the fungibles and with this and that. We're not going there, okay? We're talking big picture. If you're focused on earning, a lot of people can earn the same salary. And a lot of people can earn that same salary from very different ways, right? Somebody can work at a certain kind of firm, somebody can do their own files, somebody can have found a sweet spot, you know, working for a certain type of employer. Maybe they're paying you US and you're in Canada, maybe they're whatever. Like, there's a lot of ways a lot of us can earn the same dollars. And that can continue for some time, okay? You might be a top earner for some time. But then, when it comes to learning, if you put the right amount of energy into learning, there is somebody on earth that knows the most about any one thing, right? And if that person is you, if you know the most about one area of law, you're going to enter a thinner level of air at one point. It's just a matter of time. But once you get there, there's not going to be anybody to compete with you, at least for some time, right? Somebody can outlearn you, but then if you got to be the top learner in the first place, you know what it takes to outlearn them right back. So that's something I never thought about as a student, and I wish I had. First of all, from a pride and competency and, you know, just love of learning perspective, learning is a beautiful thing. It's not only going to make you a more skilled practitioner, but it makes your life better too, to know all these things, to be able to speak on these things, to be an inspiration to your colleagues, to be an inspiration to yourself and your family and your practice. There's very seldom there's bad things that come out of learning, right? But when it comes to that learning-earning dilemma, because sometimes learning might come with the lowest paycheck out there, right? Like if you're just starting and you're focusing on only learning, it might be the case that you're earning less than everybody else for some time, or less than most people for some time. But that's a journey that goes like this. It's gonna hit that exponential growth at some point. You're gonna enter at some point that circle where you're one of so few that know something in and out. And then you might even become the best at it. But earning, like I mentioned, there's always so many ways to earn even the same salary as somebody else, even if that's a good salary. But if you're solely focused on earning, that chance for exponential growth isn't there the same as with learning, right? Because there's only so many hours to your time that you can monetize. There's only so many tasks that you can monetize. There's only so many services you can provide for $1, you know? But with learning, you can roll all of that up and package it however you please. And not to get too, you know, meta there, or to get too abstract. So I'll let you, you know, reflect on what I said and make of it as whatever you please. But the way I want to wrap this video up is truly that message of learning. If I could go back and tell myself one thing, of course, I'm still in a position where, you know, I'm so thankful I can learn today and I can learn any day, right? Like it's not one of those things where it's ever too late. But, you know, if someone is 30 talking to a 20-year-old, if someone is 40 talking to a 30-year-old, you're always going to be better off applying the best advice as soon as possible, right? So I'm putting this out there for law school students. you're in the thick of it when you're in that middle of the storm, and it's not always easy to see what's outside, and it's not always easy to see that there will be a resolve. So if you're, you know, struggling with grades and you're struggling with this and that, not one customer is going to come through your door because of the grades you got. Nobody cares. It might matter in terms of getting your foot through the door of somebody else's firm for the purpose of launching your career. But there comes a point where, what do you need that for anyways, right? Like if you've learned enough and if you're confident and if you have certain skills outside of law, business skills as well, right? Like for me to run my own firm, I have skills that are not just law specific, that I'm invested in acquiring, by the way. They didn't come out of thin air. I spent my time learning how to get these skills as well. So, like I mentioned, if you're in law school right now, you're in the thick of it, there's so many stresses going through your mind, and I know that, and so many of those stresses might feel to you that they're, you know, they need a resolve today. They need that. You need to study today. You got that mood tomorrow. You have, you know, law school tuition due in 3 months. Like these are today things, short term, in other words. But then the long-term horizon is the reality that that person that learns the most about something is going to be able to be the best at that thing, and then it's their game to play. So leaving you with that big picture message, in the midst of all of these short-term urgencies that you have that I know are so real, try to rejig yourself back into that mindset of what can I learn today, so that if you're in law school now, your first day of articling, how can you flip that into a practical reality? How can you, you know, impress your principal or impress yourself or impress the client because of what you took the time to learn today that the guy sitting to your right didn't? Okay? And then once you get your articling in your pocket, once you're licensed as a lawyer, well then it's your game. So then how can you learn as a lawyer now, able to, you know, have your own show? How can you learn enough today as a lawyer that you can be the best lawyer? Because now we're talking. So I don't know if I said I'll end the video there, but this time I really mean it. I'll end the video there. Thank you for watching. Happy 2023. Hang in there, have that long-term vision, and focus on learning this year as much as you can. Learn about that one area of law that makes you tick. And if you haven't found it, find that area of law and then learn as much about it as possible. Thank you for watching.